What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to Trading Live with Bubba. What is going on? The markets are continuing to be dead. The trades you put on the other day are in decent shape. We're winning 3 or 4 of them right now. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, as has been the story, unfortunately, not a lot to do from a day trading perspective. Again, we just have to be patient enough to wait for it and see what it looks like. Again, you could kind of reach into the Dow, but I would ask why you would want to. I don't see a lot of reason to get too involved in here. I think you're looking at more danger than anything else. But as we look at some of the things that I'm looking at, I did short. I sold call spreads in SE, and that is still good for next week. I think that UNH is probably another good choice to try it again. It's certainly getting hammered, but how much more bad news are they going to have? I would certainly look to sell put spreads here in UNH. I've already got them on, but that would be something that I would look at overall. But from a day trading standpoint, there isn't much going on here. It's very, very quiet once again. It looks like they're going to try to run them up again here. They're down, but they have come significantly back. The Dow has rallied back almost 200 points from its low, or actually over 200 points from its lows of the night. I mean, this would be a fairly risky trade up in here to take this. And again, you know that I'm not risk averse, but I don't like to take things that I don't think I have the true high probability on. And of course, if you look at just some of the markets, everything's just kind of quiet and the volume is pathetic. But we'll look at our normal stocks. We'll see if we can find something to do. Apple is still really not in an area yet where I'm ready to go ahead and sell yet or buy. I mean, we don't care which side. We'll trade either side. Amazon did reach, okay, and of course we did put this on Tuesday, and this should be okay to be a winner. You could probably cash it in now if you want to. That would be totally up to you. Coin reached, and of course we put this on, and this is in our favor right now as well. Again, would I do it again? You could. I mean, again, you could add it again, but we did most of these for next week already, so there's no reason to double up into a position. Crowd never got to our target that we'd like to get to. Again, you're seeing just a market, and I get a little rally here, so maybe we'll get some action here to sell. Let's see what it looks like. Getting a little bit of a charge. Okay, so the Dow is a no. I mean, if you wanted to take a gamble here, you could look at the NASDAQ would be one to look at. And now we're waiting for a potential red bar to go ahead and sell it. The S&P is now on its high for the day. And again, after being much lower overnight, we're seeing a pretty sharp rally here. Must be some news or a special tweet that came out. Our stop in the NASDAQ right now would be 21,391, but we don't have a trade yet. But 21,391 would be our stop at the moment, and maybe now we're getting not really. See, you really don't have as much action in the S&P right now. So, but certainly the NASDAQ is still potential. Stop would be 395, 21,395. The Dow has now reached its high from being down. It's now rallied 300 off the bottom. So obviously there's buyers out there looking to participate. But again, it's a very slow market, a little bit dangerous. But again, we'll be ready, and we're going to certainly potentially sell this NASDAQ. 397 is our stop. if we get a trade, which we don't have it yet, but we are looking for it. $3.97 would be the stop, and I don't know. Yeah, well, right now it would look like it would be no trade yet. It's not a clear reverse yet, so we have to wait for another minute now. And now the S&P is coming into potential play as well. So we can take, now again, I would recommend if you're not a regular day trader and you're just trading with me, I would only take one of the two. If you trade all the time, then they're both going to qualify. Now, neither one qualifies at the moment, but they're both going to be trades. But you have to measure the risk that you're willing to take on these trades. Okay, that's something that's important to understand. Certainly, again, we have to always watch our risk. Our stop is 398 on the NASDAQ, which it looks like we may get a trade here now. And you can take the NASDAQ if you'd like to. You can take the NASDAQ with a stop at 398. Okay. And now you can work some orders down below. You can start with 5 full points below and then 10, depending on the quantity that you're trading. And we will look and see if the S&P turns as well. But right now, our NASDAQ's a little bit against us. But this is always the issue. You're dealing with a market that lacks true liquidity. We don't have a lot of liquidity right now, so it makes it a little bit more of a challenge. Again, we want them to be fast and whipping like crazy. That's always the best action when there's a little bit of panic going on. There's a little bit of activity. And unfortunately, right now, we don't have that type of activity. But we'll see what happens. Again, we're here, we're in, and let's see what happens. As I said, our open trades from the other day are in good shape, and we'll see what appears here, and let's see if we can get a. And now we're getting a little bit of rally. So we're a small loser to the trade at the moment, but we're in. So we're not getting out until either we make a profit or get stopped out. So, but again, you can see for yourself the actual lack of real action that's here. And that's always something to be concerned about. Okay, again, this is a market that lacks true liquidity. Okay, and we do have a chance to look at the S&P now while we're here. And maybe we'll get the S&P on this bar. Not yet. Not yet. And so the NASDAQ is hovering near even range right now, which means there's nothing for us to do with it. There's nothing to do in gold right now. There's nothing to do in crude right now. Again, this is very quiet, very much of a challenge. Well, let's see what happens. And we got a potential coming up in the S&P. Our stop in the S&P would be 59.13. 59.13 would be your stop there. And you can take the S&P if you'd like to. 59.13 stop. Okay, so again, it's quiet. These are a little bit riskier than normal because there's just not enough liquidity in the market. But again, they're fine. We're in, and we'll see what happens here. Dow making a new high. And again, we'll see. Not the greatest of opportunity. And you can see by the lack of speed to this market that there isn't very much to do right now. Okay, that's one of the things that we like to see as well, the speed in which the market trades at, and this is trading at a snail's pace. Okay, and it looks like now they're going to make a little rush to the upside again. It looks like they may stop us out. That's part of the game. But we use the stops we set are based on a mathematical probability of where they can get to. Doesn't mean we won't get stopped out. But we'll see what happens here. I'll continue to watch it and see if we can find some other things to do. Again, see, the Dow has got no volume. I mean, we would normally trade the Dow at 5,000 contracts. It's under 2. So that's always a little bit of a challenge. But once again, you have to be patient enough in this business to wait for it. And that's why we wait. And again, we're just kind of vacillating back and forth with a small loss in both trades at the moment. But if I were to guess, I'm going to guess we're going to get stopped out of this S&P if you took it. Because we should get a little bit of a pullback under any circumstances. We are about 4 or 5 standard deviations from the mean based on a 4-minute chart, which means you should get some mean reversion. Doesn't mean you have to. Again, all we're playing is probability. And that's one of the things that you always have to remember is about the probability. Again, you're looking for longer term trades. There's different ways to trade. Of course, right now we're watching these, and again, they're just going against us, but they're not going against us at such an amazing clip, which leaves us a chance for the pullback. But let's take a look. These are in, they're open. We can take a look at some of the other things while we're waiting. Meta we're in, which is a winning trade for us at the moment. I wouldn't add to it. Google is one you could look at if you want to. As a selling call spreads. Had a nice big rally from the bottom, up much overbought here. IWM continues to hang. Would have worked if we got it on the other day, which we didn't. Microsoft, we have no trade, and I don't see a trade that I'd be putting on right now. MSTR, we did not put a trade on the other day, but it would have worked if we did. Nugget, nothing to do. NVIDIA, we did put on the other day, and it's right back about where we put it on at. Okay, a little bit higher. So that's the one loser that we're working with right now, but it could still turn into a winner. QQQ, we didn't do anything with. We looked at putting on for the day, which it did work out for the day. And SMCI, now you would look at potentially selling in SMCI some call spreads, very overbought. And again, remember, this has nothing to do with an opinion. This is just based on the math and the probability. XYZ, nothing. SPY, we looked at the other day, nothing right now. Tesla, we did sell the other day. It's coming right back into where we needed to right now, so this should be okay. Win, we would be a seller. And Zoom, again, nothing to do right now. So again, I always recommend that you don't get too overly involved in what's going on right now, because it's just an extremely quiet, lack of liquidity kind of market. Okay. And it does look like we are going to get stopped out on the S&P. We're still going to be, we're not out yet. So, but it does appear that they're going to get them up there. And we're basically just going straight up. There must have been some news or something that is driving. But again, when you're in really thin markets, that is one of the things that we do recognize, that it makes it a bigger challenge And that's kind of where we are right now. I did get stopped out of the S&P. What the hell happened here? Okay. Now it appears we're probably going to stop that on the NASDAQ too. I don't know. Again, we're just going straight up. I'd be looking for another spot to sell, but I also would be preferable that I'd probably be calling it a day, because there's not enough liquidity to this market. There's not enough speed to this market. This is more of a spread selling kind of market. If that's what you're into. Again, I don't know what everybody likes to do, but that would be what I'd be looking at right now. Again, it's a very tough market to trade right now at the moment, because again, it goes back to the lack of speed in the market, the lack of emotion trading in this market. And these are the kind of days that when I was on the trading floor right now, if it were summer, I'd be on my way to the golf course. If it were winter, we'd be playing hearts or backgammon or gin, because right now there's just not a lot to do. So you can build some positions. Okay, so we're stopped out. We have 2 losers. First time in the history of this call, we've had 2 losers on this trade. But again, that's part of life. I can't defend it. I can't say it's wrong. It does happen. We're always aware of risk, which is why I talk to you about risk. But other than that, I think we'll call it a day, because there's just nothing going on. There's nothing worth trading. I'm certainly not going to be a buyer. I could only be a seller, and there's not enough action for me to want to be a seller here now. I'll take my loss and then move on, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.